Good afternoon, this is Ellie Kubo. My student number is Z5042479. This is my video reflection for Model 5104 Specialized Translations. Firstly, I would like to outline the structure of my presentation. First, I'll talk about the job I'll be applying for. Then I'll move on to talking about my background, my experience, and my strengths. Then I will move on to talking about the expertise which I have gained from this course, and then the development that I have gone through over the course of the semester, and finish off by talking about steps I would like to take from now on. So this is the job advertisement for the job that I will be going for. It is a Japanese English translation for education and policy documents. The client is based in Collingwood in Australia, which means that they require Japanese into English translations into Australian English. And they require 60 pages to be translated from Japanese to English over the next few weeks. And the material will include handbooks and course guides, lesson plans, and policy documents. They also state in the requirements that they are looking for experience and value, which I will prove to you that I have both. So I have a background in a Bachelor of Arts, majoring in Japanese from University of Sydney. I am currently studying a Masters in Translation at the University of New South Wales, and I am currently a student member at AUSIT. My first language is technically Japanese, but since I moved to Australia when I was 10 and have been schooled in English ever since, I am considered a native English speaker. So my strengths include I have excellent translation skills. I have fluency in both English and Japanese. I have excellent time management and organizational skills. I can work effectively independently and as part of a team. I have the ability to work under pressure and meet deadlines, and I am proficient in translation technology such as MemoQ and MemSource, and I also use techniques of Lisa Q&A for quality assessment. So the expertise that I have gained through this course include knowledge and experience of media texts. This includes audiovisual translation like subtitling, economic texts, speeches, travel websites, blogs, and Japanese cartoons called manga. And more relevant to this reflection and also to the job advertisement, I have covered texts such as technical, scientific, legal, and medical texts. So here are some of the examples that I have translated. On the left here is an instruction manual for how to install a window shade, and to the right here is an academic lecture slide about activity-based cost management. Here are some more examples. These are both legal texts. The one on the left is an extract from the Alien Registration Act, and the one on the right here is an extract from the Charter of Victims' Rights in New South Wales. Here is another example, and here I'd like to demonstrate to you my orientation phase in my translation process. When we get a translation, we are trained to linguistically analyze it. First, we look at the structure. Here, as you can see, I have pointed out that it starts with that hypothesis followed by an outline and a method, and I have identified the parts in the text that indicate this. And from the yellow underlined parts in the text, you can see that it is a scientific report because these are very technical scientific terms, and I know that I'm going to have to look these up in dictionaries. And the blue underline indicates to me that it is written in a formal register. So a part of my orientation phase is I'd like to implement the Skopos theory here. The Skopos theory comes from the word skopos, which in Greek means goal or purpose, and it's a theory that focuses on what the function of the text is. Based on the purpose of the text, we can determine whether we should go for a more literal translation or a less literal or oblique translation in order to maintain the coherence and stay faithful to the original translation. So, some of the common linguistic issues that translators encounter when dealing with Japanese English translations include false cognates or false friends. An example of this would be the word privacy, which is borrowed into Japanese as evident in the legal text from earlier on in Japanese. The word has been used in the same way it is in English. However, there are cases that you need to be careful of because sometimes, though Japanese borrows words from English, it may not necessarily mean the same thing. For example, the word tension. Tension in English has a negative connotation, yet in Japanese, more often than not, it is used more with a positive connotation to indicate enthusiasm. Another linguistic issue that translators face is subject. In Japanese, the subject quite often is implicit, which makes it difficult to translate into English because you are having to recover a subject that is not explicitly stated in the original source, and vice versa. When translating from English into Japanese, sometimes it sounds quite odd and repetitive, having the subjects restated over and over again. And in English, in order not to sound repetitive, we use ellipsis. Yet in Japanese, there is not as many variety of ellipses as there is in English. When we encounter issues in translation or difficulties in translation, we have some strategies available to us, and some that I'd like to take include transposition. This is when you take the same information but you express it in a different way so as to achieve fluency. So an example includes taking a noun and turning it into a verb, or taking an active phrase and turning it into a passive phrase. Another example includes modulation. Another strategy, includes modulation. For example, taking a phrase like not difficult and turning it into easy to use. So you are changing the modality, yet keeping the meaning. And another strategy is adaptation. This includes substitution, paraphrasing, or sometimes omitting when a phrase is either too difficult or impossible to translate or unnecessary to translate. So here are some of the resources that I like to use, help me use in my translation. I like to use online dictionaries such as Weblio and Alc, or Lingui or British National Corpus. These two are online corpus dictionaries, and they are very useful when there are more than one translations for a word and I don't know which one is suitable. These ones, you can put the word into the corpus and you can determine which one is more suitable in the context. In order to assure quality assurance, I deploy the Lisa QA technique, which is marking from 1 to 5, the accuracy, fluency, comprehensibility, usability, and acceptability. And based on my tutor's feedback, I noticed that often I would choose the incorrect word or have ambiguous expressions and sound too literal. So I like using online corpuses because this helps me choose the correct word in context and achieve a pragmatic translation. So over the course of the semester, I have discovered new resources such as Corpus, online Corpus, and I've gained familiarity with technical terminology and structures, and I've improved generally in terms of grammatical detail as well. From now on, I would like to improve the speed of my translation, expose myself to more Japanese technical texts as well, participate more in the translation industry, deepen my theoretical knowledge of translation, and gain more experience inside and outside of university. So, to summarize, I would be the perfect candidate for this job of translating educational policy documents because I have a deep theoretical knowledge of translation and am capable of achieving accuracy and fluency. I am academically trained in specialized translation and have a deep and profound understanding of cultural and linguistic issues in both English and Japanese. And I also place importance on quality using quality assurance skills. So thank you for your listening to my speech. Thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope you have a lovely day.